I'm Jeremy here at Dynamic Martial Arts, and I want to take you through some of the basic stances that are going to be useful in your basic forms from basic form 1, 2, and 3 all the way up to Palway 2, 4, 6, 7, and beyond. And we're starting right now. Right. When we're talking about stances, what we're talking about is the way you stand, right? And in our forms and our basics, those stances are going to allow you to distribute your weight differently. So some are aggressive and forward stances, some the weight is on your back leg, and some the weight is more evenly distributed. So let's get into those right now. We're starting with front stance, okay? So the idea with front stance is your feet are going to be about shoulder width apart, maybe an inch or two wider, but let's not go wider than that because this is a forward stance. So as we step forward, try to imagine a line coming out from each foot, almost like two tracks, like railroad tracks, right? So I take one foot, I step forward on that line, and I bend that knee. Now notice my back foot. My back foot stays pointed mostly forward. My back leg is straight. My front knee is bent. I want my front knee to be right over the top of my front foot, not past my foot. That's not good for our knees, but just right over the top of my front foot. I can have my hands on my waist. I can have my hands up, but either way, I've got my knee over my front foot, my back leg straight. Now as I step forward, watch what I do. I bring my feet in, and then I step out with my other foot. And I bend my front knee, my back foot stays forward, my back leg stays straight. But look what I did. I widened my stance back up to where, again, I'm standing on those railroad tracks. I'm gonna start a little further back so you can see me take a couple steps, okay? So again, feet are apart, right? Step forward with one of those feet, you decide, all right? Now as I step, I bring my feet in, and then I can step out to the side. My front foot is forward, my back foot is forward, my front knee is over the front foot. I go in, and I go in, and I go in. There we go. All right, so those are our front stances. From the side, that front stance is gonna look like this. So again, notice that I have my front knee right over the top of my front foot, my back leg is nice and straight, and I wanna have good posture as I do this, okay? That's front stance. Moving on, stance number 2 is going to be back stance. So in a back stance, as you could probably guess, the weight is going to be on the back leg. From the front view, back stance is going to look like this, right? My feet are shaped like an L. In fact, right now, my back foot is probably hidden quite a bit by my front foot, isn't it? Right? You might not be able to see that well because my heels should be in a straight line. So again, my back knee is bent, my front knee is also bent. So let's go ahead and get that side view early on this time. So again, I shape my feet like an L, my front foot points forward, my back foot points to the side, I bend both of my knees, and I rock my weight back. This is where I want to be, okay? Now the tricky part with back stance is, as you're stepping forward, your weight kind of wants to fall forward. Don't let your weight fall forward. You've got to maintain that balance. I'm going to do it from the side so you can see what that looks like. So as I step into my first stance, I step, my weight is on my back leg. Now, I transfer my weight, I turn my front foot, I transfer my weight, but I got to keep my weight on that leg so I don't fall forward and rock back, right? Turn your front foot, step forward, right? Turn your front foot, step forward, right? Keeping your weight on that back leg, okay? So last one, moving on, the last stance is going to be the horse stance. All right, so the horse stance, our feet are going to be wider than our shoulders, and both of our knees are going to be bent. 50-50, both knees are bent. The back should be nice and straight. Shouldn't be leaning over. You shouldn't be leaning over. Right, your knees are bent, your back is nice and straight. Your toes, look at my feet. My feet aren't pointing to the sides. Those toes, try to pull my pants up here a little bit. My toes should be facing forward. In fact, if you turn your feet in a little bit, that's going to push your heels out. It's going to make your knees want to go in. Pull your knees back apart. If you do it right, you should feel it stretching on the outside of your calf muscles on either leg, right? So again, toes forward, heels kind of dig in a little bit, push out, and you pull your knees apart slightly. And if you do it right, you should feel pretty anchored into the ground, okay? So that's the horse stance. Now those 3 stances again, let's review those. The first one was front stance. The second one was back stance. And the third one was horse stance, okay? Now, if you want to challenge yourself, find a space in your house that you have a little bit of room to walk, and walk those stances up and down the hallway over and over and over again, okay? That's one way you can challenge yourself. Another way you can challenge yourself is to get in a stance, hold that stance there, and practice these. Do 10 down blocks while holding that stance, right? Then switch legs. Do 10 down blocks while holding that stance, right? Do that for each of the stances. Or you want a harder challenge. Anybody want a harder challenge? Yeah, I'll bet you do. What do you do? Get in that stance. Do 10 of these, 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 right? Challenge yourself to see how long you can hold the front stance, or the back stance, or the horse stance, all right? But either way, make sure you get some good quality repetition. I can't stress that enough. Quality repetition. Quality versus quantity. Quantity is how much. Quality is how good. So if you were to do 100 stances and every one of them was sloppy, it's not going to do you any good. All that's going to do is reinforce the habit of doing sloppy stances, right? Instead, I would do a few less of those. Maybe your muscles burn out before you get a chance to get that high of a number. Do less of them, but make sure that the quality is very high. Make sure you do 25, 30, 50 really good stances. That's going to pay off much more than 100 sloppy stances. Plus, this is a great way to build strength in those legs. And for those of you who love doing jump kicks, you're going to have some power in those legs to get you up off the ground. Those stances, again, are a great way to build that power because the weight distribution is different for each one. The strength requirement, the muscles that are used are a little bit different in each one. So it gives you a good variety of training and it gives you a good overall, that gives you a pretty good leg workout right there. I'll bet you'd be sweating if you did like 50 of each of those stances, all right? So listen, log your training, get your practice in, and we're going to see some serious improvements out here in the classroom. So I look forward to seeing what you have and what you're capable of when you come back to the mats. All right, happy training.